Did you know that 15.8 million households pay over 50% of their incomes towards their housing, according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness? This is a problem that we need to address because the problem will only get worse unless we take a stand against it. Both me and Michaela have researched this topic and have volunteered to help end homelessness. With the higher cost of living, it has made it more difficult for a homeless person or family to be able to afford to live a lifestyle with everyday necessities. Today we are going to talk to you about the prevalence of the homelessness problem and what you can do to help the families and people who are affected by it. I will be talking about the causes and some of the effects, and Michaela will be talking about the rest of the effects and some of the solutions to them. So first, I will be talking about the causes of homelessness. The high cost of housing has made homelessness an easier occurrence all around the United States. According to the New York Times in January of 2017, the federal minimum wage of $7.25 per hour has been unchanged since 2009. This is a major link to homelessness because the minimum wage that is set for most states is too low for people to live from. Also, with the recent recession, it has been harder for people to get back on their feet because they don't have the higher paying jobs that they used to have. Another cause can be health conditions. When people are paid little, they find themselves having a hard time paying for food that will help maintain them with a healthy body. According to the Western Journal of Emergency Medicine, interventions providing housing might improve the overall care management and have the potential to reduce emergency medical visits and hospital readmissions. Many people find that they are suffering from many mild health conditions, but when homeless, their health conditions become worse. The high cost of prescriptions is hard for people to find medication that will suit their problems and soon can lead to more medical conditions. Secondly, I will talk about the effects of the previously stated causes. Due to the high cost of housing, there are many effects that people have to deal with in turn. One effect is that families who are living off minimum wage are left to try to survive on the street without being able to afford themselves and their children. Also, an effect of the recession is that people are still recovering from financial loss and some can't afford to pay their high bills. Now I will hand it off to Michaela, where she will tell you about the other effects and the solutions to those problems.
Thank you, Miranda. Homelessness creates a risk for people that have higher chronic illnesses and other health effects. According to Health Care for Homeless Center, there are several different effects that homeless people suffer more often than those who have a home. They are 4 times more likely to suffer from liver conditions than those who have a home. Also, about 38% of homeless people suffer from multiple chronic conditions. Some examples of these are diabetes, heart problems, stroke, weak or failing kidneys, and cancer. Not having a stable recovery place or a healing place for these problems makes it more difficult to recover. After doing research, it makes you think, what can you do to fix this problem? One thought was to make housing more affordable. There are several ways to make housing more affordable. It all starts in the beginning of the design process for the housing development. Less materials can be used to make smaller houses. The less material used, the less money spent. Less money spent, the more a person can save. Another way to create affordable housing is to use cheaper materials. A lot of times there are cheaper materials for those that are commonly used that use the exact same thing. Another way to get people off the streets and lower our homeless population is to change minimum wage. I know in most states some of the minimum wage has gone up, but this is still not enough to survive on. An option to fix this is to create a living wage for people who are living 100% off of this or having to support a family. Then there could be a lower wage for those who are just working part-time or not living off of this money. Creating a higher minimum wage, more people would be able to afford a place to live, food, and other things one may need. They would not be forced to pick and choose one or the other. These are just a few solutions of ways we can fix and reduce the homeless population in the United States. With living costs on the rise, many people find themselves struggling to be able to afford the lifestyle of everyday necessity. Today, we told you about the problems that are associated with homelessness and what you can do to help. So we urge you to go to homeless shelters and donate food or money or volunteer, or possibly volunteer with Habitat for Humanity to help build affordable housing. Help make a difference in our world by making a difference in our community. An unknown author says, "Who are we as human beings if we ignore the suffering of others?"